Ahoy there, me mateys, and welcome to Windrose. My name is Will, this is An Ecologist Plays, and we are back in the Caribbean. And of course, we have our Ketch over here. That is the first ship we have. Now, I have asked for names in the previous video, and though I didn't get any name suggestions there, I did get in the community post. And there was one that really drew my attention. So we are going to rename our ship La Nina. Because in the Caribbean, in the Atlantic Ocean at least, the La Nina weather events cause more and more severe hurricane seasons. And you know what? We are going to be taking on the pirates like a hurricane. So we're just going to change our looks here a little bit, just so we can match our stormy temper. I also have gotten the Brethren variant of the Ketch, rather than just the stock variant. It has more health than the normal stock variant, and can also carry more stuff in the hold. When I get access to some of the factions, I should be able to buy more powerful guns, and I think it's the Buccaneers, if I'm not mistaken, if I find their island, and then I can get access to the 24-pounder guns. And I'm probably going to switch over to the Blackbeard variant of the Ketch, because it can have the 24-pounder guns, not just the 12-pounder guns. Now we are setting sail, and we're looking for a particular ship. We are looking for Blackbeard's pirate Ketch, and I don't actually see it. No, I do not see it on the map, which is very interesting because... Wait, no, I thought maybe it is this one, but no, it is not in fact this one. I had seen it off screen while I was looking for, islands, just to explore a wee little bit. I did see Blackbeard's pirate Ketch, but unfortunately, yeah, it seems to be missing at the moment. Oh well, we'll just carry on with our little adventure, and we're just going to first of all show this Blackbeard raider over here, who is the new king of the Caribbean, and then we're going to just quickly have a look at this tiny little island right over there, and we're going to talk about, well, Ball's Pyramid. I really would like to find the Buccaneers Island, because the one thing with the Brethren of the Coast Ketch here is it is not as fast as the Blackbeard's variant of the Ketch, of all the ships actually. The Blackbeard variants are generally faster than the stock and the Brethren of the Coast variants. But it is a bit of a glass cannon, as they do have less health than the other variants. There we go. This raider is in range of our frontal guns, so we're just going to miss it. Let's bring it up port side and just go high there. Now, when we get access to some of the other factions, we should also be able to get special types of guns. I think the Brethren of the Coast again, not just the normal stock variant of the guns, but instead we can get guns that will... Let's just try to get the sails there. I don't think we're going to get it. No, we didn't. Let's bring it up starboard side and again try to fire at its sails. There we go. We have slowed it down a little bit. We can get variants of the guns here that will allow us to do more damage if we fire after waiting a little bit after reloading, or fire immediately after reloading. Or we get guns that allow us to do increased damage if 50% or more of our volley actually hits our target ship. So that is quite nice, because it will allow you to actually tailor-make your sea battles. And we have successfully slowed down the raider here, and you know what we are going to do is we're going to board it. It will give us a little bit more loot. It works better if you actually board the proper transport ships. Now, I have increased my boarding party, my cannons, as well as my hull to all to level 5, so we should be able to do this relatively alright. And all we need to do is destroy 4 of the enemies here, and we already have 3 down, and this will be the last one. There we go. As you can see there, we just got 10 piastre. We got 10 of the silver coins there. And it's something. And of course then, once we board, we can grab all those extra stuffies over there. And then let's have a quick look at this tiny little island right over here. Right, so this little island over here really isn't big. It's smaller than our starting island over here. So I wouldn't expect a lot of resources on here, but it is nice to come and explore a little bit in any case. Now we have got a little bit of a beach over here, and I suspect that if there were tides in the game, it would actually rise up and around this rock outcrop right over here. It should be at least during spring high tide, it should do that, and possibly even during normal high tides, it should rise all the way up to here. You can see the vegetation starts around here, and then there's sand down here below. That's because this area down here is generally disturbed, and it will be disturbed quite a bit because every day we have got high and low tide, and every time there's high tide, salty water approaches the shoreline up here, and it's generally not good for most plants, at least this salty water. Most plants cannot handle that. We have got some piggies on the island here, so we of course have to destroy them because they are not indigenous to the Caribbean. We need to get rid of them all, if we can. Now it is basically sunset, so we almost have to head home and then we'll carry on with our little adventure. But just quickly, the importance of a small island like this. Now normally you wouldn't have very high diversity on little islands like this. Large islands have much better... Oh, there's a charging boar, interestingly enough. And it just came past me. A little charging boar. But normally large islands have much more diversity than small islands. Because small islands, competition is more fierce for the available niches than large islands, so species tend to disappear from small islands more rapidly. We'll chat about that at some point. Now, keeping that in mind, small islands can still play a very, very valuable role. And I'm looking at you, Balls Pyramid, and the Lard Howe Island Stick Insect. So one of the largest stick insects that is alive today is the Lard Howe Island Stick Insect. And unfortunately, they were extirpated from most of their range. Extirpated meaning that they went extinct in most of their range. They disappeared. And that was due to things like predators being introduced to the areas where they occurred, particularly rats. And of course, they were eaten basically to extinction by rats. And somehow they did survive in one of the most inhospitable places on Balls Pyramid, which is a rocky outcrop off the coast of Lard Howe Island. And they were actually discovered by some rock climbers that found them up on one little tea bush on Balls Pyramid. And so that Balls Pyramid outcrop, teeny tiny as it was, somehow saved that species from extinction because there were no rats on that island, on that little outcrop. And so it gave those stick insects a rat-free place to actually live. So even though small islands and or little outcrops don't seem like they have any value for conservation, they can be very valuable as little last resorts for some species that are threatened in most of their range. And I'm sure there are many other examples of plants and animals that have been saved just by some inhospitable little outcrop somewhere housing the last population. And then from there, with the Lard Howe Stick Insect, they've been bred in captivity. And well, they do love breeding, so there are lots and lots of them in zoos around the world. But of course, until Lard Howe Island and other islands in New Zealand are actually predator-free, they will not be able to return to their natural range. Right now, after taking a quick nap here and changing it to daytime, it's another stormy day. We are going to be heading off to some more islands now and probably be attacking some pirates along the way. And when we get to at least one of the islands, I am going to quickly chat about fenestrated leaves. But before we do that, I keep on forgetting we have actually progressed a bit. So we can increase our agility over here, which will help us do more damage with things like our sabers, which we are using at the moment. Also our vitality here and our endurance we are also going to just level up. And then very importantly, we have 2 talent points to also spend. So here we go. I'm going to take You Will Answer for this, one level in this for now, which increases temporal health gain when taking damage by 25%, meaning that when we get hit by enemies, we don't lose all our health immediately. Instead, some of it will be left as temporal health. Temporary, it will go away after a little bit. So we're going to grab that. And to help us with surviving, we are going to take Retribution as well. Because then, with our temporal health there, and you'll see that as a bit of a grayed out red, if we have got temporal health and we attack, it converts 40% of that temporal health into proper health. So by not losing all our health immediately, keeping some of it as temporal health, and then attacking, well, then we can stay alive a little bit better. And I think Blackbeard's Ketch, yeah, indeed, has appeared. So we're going to quickly head on over there now. And there we go. There is our victim right up ahead. Shame. It's a level 1 Ketch. Now, as I've mentioned before, the way the levels work is if you have a higher level than your enemy, you're going to damage them more and take less damage than if they were the same level as you. And of course, if you are a lower level than your enemies, you're going to take more damage and deal less damage. So we should be able to just finish off this Ketch over here, somewhere right in front, relatively easily. There we go, we did get our first shot there. And let's just get it on our port side here and fire away. We can also switch on over to our chain shot here, and that should allow us to damage the sails, and it is in fact relatively immobile. As you can see, it can still move, it is just very, very slow moving, the enemy here. It is a nice way to cripple some of the ships. If you don't, for example, want them engaging in combat, you can just shoot them with your chain shot, make them immobile, at least for a little bit there, and then fire away with, for fun. And there we go. Blackbeard's Ketch here is now immobile. Completely immobile, and it can't fire at us either, so we're just going to turn up alongside it, get it on our starboard side here, and then we're going to board it, of course. And there we go. La Nina is getting ready to take on the enemy here, and that should give us a nice bit of loot, because as you can see there, it has a little chest icon above its name. That means it is in fact a transport ship. It is transporting a few nice goods, which is, always fantastic. Luckily, there is no friendly fire because, well, otherwise I would have been a hazard to my crew. And that is it. 56 silver coins, and those were provisions which we can sell to the people of Tortuga for a bit of extra money. And then, of course, when we board our ship, we also get to take the ship's spoils here. And now we're going to set sail for the big island right over there. It's in Blackbeard waters. We can expect to see some Blackbeard ships, level 1 to 5 up ahead. We're just going to sail on the right-hand side of this island up here. They pass by our port side. So of course, when you are sailing, we've got port and starboard. So if you're standing at the back here, at the helm, and you're looking to your bow, left is port side, right is starboard side. And the way I just remember it is PS, postscriptum, like, afterthought in a letter, PS. So port side is to your left, starboard is to your right. And it's important to use those terms because it means that any place you are on the ship, you can just hail enemy to the port side, enemy to the starboard side, and wherever anybody else is on the ship, they know which way to look. If you just hail left and someone is looking this way, well, they may be looking to starboard side, whereas you, who are at the back here, were looking to the front here, you were actually meaning port side. And then everybody looks to the wrong side, and yeah, it's just a bunch of confusion. So having port and starboard side is a nice way of communicating which way enemies are, which way land is, which way things are that you need to pick up, collect, barrels, stuff like that. So port and starboard side, PS. I'm really hoping the weather lifts. I think it is. I think the storm is clearing away. It looks as though we have got the sun starting to shine through a bit, which is absolutely marvelous. Okay, we need to turn to starboard side. We need to turn to the north because there is an island right up there, and there are some undiscovered places. And of course, many of these undiscovered places could actually give us some weapons or armor, which, that'll be very nice to actually grab. I'm just going to collect some cocoa drupes over here, the coconuts. Of course, as mentioned before, they're not really nuts. They are actually drupes, the type of fruit, different type of fruit altogether. Our first point of interest is coming up right over here. Ah, it is a little camp. Well, supposedly a little camp. Where is this camp? Ah, it is down here, it seems. Hello? Ah, a swollen drowned. Oh, this is a bad spot to fight a swollen drowned because he could vomit up some horrible stuff on us, but luckily he did not. Contraband. Okay, we can sell that, and that is this point of interest done. Okay, next spot coming up to the northwest. This one here is a mine, so you're not going to worry too much about that. We do have a mine on our starter island. We're going to grab one of the so-called misty orchids, the mysterious little, not really an orchid. This is interesting. This appears to be a pirate camp. Huh. Oh, you know what? This could be the final, I think this is in fact the boss area. So we're not going to do this one yet. We are going to come back here later. We can't enter there yet. We need to get 4 black marks before we can even enter this area over here. Okay, so good to know. We're going to avoid this. But this island here is, in other words, it's not too far from our main island. This is where we are going to do our first boss fight. All right, let's circle around to some of the other areas. But before we do, have a look at this plant over here, this bush as it is called here, and notice that the leaves have got big holes in them. These leaves are what we call fenestrated leaves. They are leaves with fenestra, or windows. And it's just so funny that in the English language there is literally a term, that's an azure dodo, let's leave it alone, let's not kill it. There's literally a term for throwing someone out a window. And if you throw someone out a window, it is called defenestration. Because fenestra or fenester, that would refer to a window, And then, to de-finesse someone is to throw someone out the window. So yeah, of course there's going to be a term like that in English. There are some chests here. Oh, there are lots of pigs. Okay, tent. And there comes the charging boar. You know what, we're just going to quickly make this our revival point. And we'll get back to the Finestra in a moment. Just have to clear the ruins over here. Oh, this is a very dangerous boar. Let's just get to open ground again. Right past our tent. Should be a good spot too. Oh, there we go. Take out the charging boar as well. Ooh, and the normal boar that is so keen to attack us. Okay, normal boar is dead. Gives us quite a bit of loot there. It was a 2-star boar. And this charging boar is also gone. I would really actually like a spyglass. Oh, that would be such a nice addition to the game. If we could get a spyglass and be able to look at the piggies and all the animals from a distance without us drawing aggro. Oh, that would just be so lovely. I would really enjoy that. Hello, piggy. Speaking of drawing their attention. 2 boars. Okay. We are backed into a corner here. Okay, we are going to die. I'm pretty sure we are going to be dead. And you can see our health is now basically gone in any case. We're just going to... There we go. Do that. Put on a bandage. And also drink a potion. And now we should be alright. We should be alright. As we just grab everything we get here. And there we go. Another ruin done. So as we head to the east... Let's quickly talk about Finestra, which we can see on this Monstera over here. So Monstera deliciosa, for example, being the delicious monster, or at least the scientific name of the delicious monster, they are in the Araceae family, the Arum family. But within the Araceae family, especially in the Monstera genus, there are quite a few plants that have got holes in their leaves. As we have also come across some bananas, and I'm really hoping we can get banana seeds. There we go. We got 1 banana seed. We're not going to harvest all the bananas. We're going to leave 2 of the banana plants here to sustain the local wildlife. We're just going to harvest 3 banana plants here. It really is weird that the bananas in the game here do have seeds. Now, bananas, I don't believe they naturally occurred in the Caribbean. They also should actually be from Southeast Asia, and so we do have some in South Africa with the wild bananas in the Strelitzia genus rather than in the true banana genus, which for now I can't remember what that is. The reason I harvested fewer bananas there is because those bananas would most likely have been eaten by the azure dodos, and I don't want to, remove their main source of food there. Okay, another ruin here. Oh, and this time around we have Undead coming after us. Oh, joy. That one is dead. Okay, that is great. That is great. The Undead has returned to resting in peace. We have to check for their red attacks, the unblockable attacks, because that will result in us bleeding and losing health slowly but surely. Like that. Ha! Miss. And because you can't block those telegraphed red attacks, you have to jump out of the way. In general, with the combat in the game here, it is good not to overcommit. Just whack a few times and then jump backwards or move aside so they can do their attack and hopefully miss you. Just want to check whether there are any more undead on this side. Does not appear to be the case. So we can clear some debris, get some healing herbs, which we will use later on. Clear the vines and head down to the cellar. Just going to equip my lamp here, and then there we go. Swollen, drowned, armor drowned, a whole bunch of drowned and undead, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Coming in as well. Of course they are. Oh, these are dangerous ones. Just gonna pop a little potion here. Would have liked it if the drowned and the undead attacked one another, but yeah, unfortunately I pressed a little bit too late, and now we are going to be bleeding. Okay, all the undead are gone. It's just this swollen drowned that has barricaded himself behind acid, I guess it is. Some bile there that it threw at us, or vomited up at us. And we're just going to, there we go. Hopefully now not take damage, because that is going to stop our bandage from working. You know what? I'm going to dodge and then shoot at you. Because why not? Wow, that did quite a bit of damage. Yeah, take that. Standing in your own filth. We have technology, we may as well use it. And that leaves us with one undiscovered place directly to the south. And then, as I have been trying to talk about for quite a while, the fenestra, the holes in the leaves. Why do they have that? So you'll find this, as I've mentioned, in quite a few species in the Araceae family, in the arum family, not to be confused with the Adams family, and it's very often in tropical environments. Now, one theory is that the holes there are there to try and prevent herbivory. Oh, this is a pirate camp. Yeah, we should be fine here. Let's just take them out. It's just 2 sailors, 3 sailors, and there we go. And let's see, what did we get? We got the Flibustiers gloves. I'm already wearing 2 of the Flibustiers armor set, so I don't think I'll be wearing the Flibustiers gloves. There'll be other armor pieces we could rather wear, but that's fine. And there we go. We have got another island more or less explored. Now I will come and map out the outline on my own off screen. We're just first going to sail on over to that island over there, and on the way I will be chatting about the fenestra, finally. Now there are 2 haulers up ahead. We are going to ignore them. Hopefully they also ignore us. They are 2 level 5s, so that's going to be a little bit challenging for us now. We'll do that when we have got better guns. So let's talk about fenestra, because there are a few theories to explain why some leaves have got those holes, although it isn't clear-cut why they actually do have that. So we haven't been able to find the true answer. Now, one theory is that it is to reduce herbivory, to make the leaves less appetizing to herbivores. But the thing is that that theory kind of falls flat when you're looking at some young leaves of hemiepiphytic species. So these are species that kind of wrap around trees. Okay, so in the Araceae family, some species will wrap around trees and grow, similar to some vines that we see in the island here. And even those ones with young leaves high up in the canopy, rather than close to where most herbivores are, even they will have fenestra. So it's like, okay, maybe it's not to prevent herbivory. So like, okay, cool. So what other reasons could there be? Well, one is that it could be to increase the amount of rainwater that actually reaches the roots of the plants. So if you have big leaves like the Monstera deliciosa would have, and it rains, a lot of the raindrops that fall will be intercepted by your leaves and will not reach the ground. And it may actually just roll off your leaf and end away from most of your roots. But if you have fenestra, if you have holes in your leaves, well, some of the water there can actually fall through the leaves and end up there where your roots are. So it could be a way to increase the amount of water they receive. And yeah, a lot of them do grow in areas with high rainfall, and you would think, okay, well, is it really necessary to have more water reach your roots? The answer is yes, because they have massive leaves. And if you have massive leaves, you lose a lot of water through transpiration. So to compensate for those transpiration losses, water leaving your leaves through your stomata, where you've got gaseous exchange happening, you need to get more water from the soil, and holes in your leaf may be a good way to try and get more water to reach your roots. But there is one more potentially very useful reason for having holes in your leaves, and that is to prevent damage with strong winds. And you'll see something similar with bananas, and we will chat about that. Oh, there's a whole armada over there. We'll chat about that with the bananas as well. You need, if you are in areas with tropical storms like we are here in the Caribbean, you don't want your leaves torn apart. And the fenestra of the Monstera deliciosa and other species in the Araceae family, they could have those holes in the leaves to try and reduce the amount of damage they take when wind blows across them. It's also theorized that it could actually help them cool their leaves down. They are in tropical areas, so yeah, it is quite warm there, and having holes in the leaves could result in a bit of turbulence around the leaf surface, which could actually help them cool their leaves down, which is nice. That's an interesting theory as to why they have those fenestra. Anyway, we are back on a new island here. I don't believe we have been on this island before. This is a new one for us. We are going to get 4 black marks from that spot over there, though that may not be today. I may come back and do that. And then we have got 2 undiscovered places. So let's actually just first have a look at the undiscovered places. There's a pirate camp over here. You know what? We are going to just set up a tent because we are far from all our other things. Ooh, you know what we could do? We could take one of these fast travel bells, and then we can actually place that on the shoreline. And I will be doing that close to the shipwreck over there, because that is where we're going to get the 4 marks. Ahoy there, fellow pirates. You be the pirate scum, so we have to end thee. And let's see, what does the chest hold? The Privateer's Tricorn. So this one here, it does increase critical hit chance by 10%, which is nice. But if you get headshots with your firearms, those are automatically critical damage. So I'm not 100% sure how useful that will be for our playthrough. So yeah, if you ever looked at Monstera deliciosa or other plants with these fenestra or these holes in their leaves, now you kind of have the answer as to why they have those holes in the leaves. Now as for how those holes actually happen, we'll chat about that next time. And we reached level 4. Well, that is marvelous. It means we can spend 2 more talent points. Again, we're going to go for You Will Answer for this, and Retribution, meaning that we have 50% of our damage being converted into temporal health, and we convert 70% of our temporal health into health when we attack the enemies. We are again going to increase our agility because it does result in us doing more damage with our sabers, which we are using, and again vitality and endurance also being taken up. And now right up there we've got a big pirate camp, and yeah, that is where we're going to get some marks that will allow us to gain entry to the first boss fight. Now we're not going to do that now. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a fast travel point over here, as well as a tent, and we are going to go pay that camp there a visit next time. For now, I'm going to call it a day, so thank you very much everyone for joining me on our nautical adventure here. Hope you had fun. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a nice thumbs up, and of course, share with your friends and your family and anyone you think would enjoy knowing why some leaves have got holes in them. And just a massive thank you everyone for joining me on our adventure here, and of course to the channel members as well. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And until next time everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!